This is the Ecovacs Deebot 950 series. And in this video, I'll show you how I fixed the problem with this. Basically, what it has been doing is from the charging dock, when you activate it, whether you press the button there or activate it off your app, it will back out and then it will turn off and simply stop. Simple as that. There's nothing you can do about resetting it. I tried buying a new battery and the battery was not the issue. What the problem is, the reason why it no longer operates, the problem is the motherboard. Now, the motherboard can cost a couple of $100, and if you want Ecovacs or a authorized repair person or company to fix it for you, it might be $400, it might be $600, it all depends. I'll show you how I fixed it with a new motherboard, and that only costed me $90. I'm here in Australia, and in this video I'll show you how to totally disassemble it, put the new motherboard in, and also reassemble it as well. This is the old motherboard. I've put in the brand new one, $90, and you'll get your Ecovacs working again. Let's get into it. Alright, this is how you pull apart the Deebot. This is the Ozmo 950 series. Alright, this is my first time pulling it apart, and I'll try to make it as clear as I can. Let's get rid of this first. We'll take this out. Okay, inside here there are two screws we need to remove. There are some rubber grommets, so we need to get rid of that. We take those two screws out, put them up on the side. Now we should be able to just put our fingers here and prise it up. There we go. So it's got a couple of locating pins or pegs there, like that. Take this out. Take these off. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws to remove. We can remove the cover plate. We remove these two screws. This is a block that retains the battery. These two screws are a little bit longer than the other screws, so just be mindful of that and keep your screws all nicely together in a pile. You can tip this upside down to get these out like this. It comes out. Battery has a connector, it just pulls out just like that, nice and easy. There's now a couple more screws to remove. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 2 in the battery compartment, and then we've got a whole host of little screws around the bumper pad. So we'll get rid of these 4 first. Get these 2. And now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 small screws to remove from around. These just require a smaller Phillips head, a bit more tighter. Okay, this plastic cover guard should come off now, like that. Now we should be able to remove the bumper from the front. Like that. And there's a couple of cables there to remove. So the way we'll do that, they just pull out like that. Okay, so just into that connector and that connector, just disconnect them. There we go. Now we should be able to lift this up, and there should be two cables right here, there and there. That comes out, and the second one as well. And then it should just lift off. And it just unsnaps from the rest of the unit. So this is the top part, as you can see. And here we have the motherboard. We'll get this out in just a moment. I'll just give this a bit of a clean down just with the compressor, just blow it out, and then we will remove the motherboard. I've just blown out all the dust from everywhere, as you can see. So now we're just going to try to remove the motherboard here. I'll take out these screws, and then we'll try disconnecting all of the small little contacts around the place. There's also a cable here. And that ribbon cable just pulls out. Right, there we go. So there are a plethora of connections all the way around, as you can see. Down there and there. And this is obviously the switch that turns on and off. On the front you can see the motherboard, I guess model. So yeah, this is what I need to get a replacement for, and hopefully that'll fix up the charging issue. Alright, so I'm just looking online for a replacement motherboard for this Ozmo 950, and pretty much on eBay we can purchase the 950 circuit board for $199. And that includes delivery. You can get it for this price across a few different shopping platforms. However, I did just look at AliExpress and I have found an even better price. So this is listed as the original motherboard, Ecovacs robot vacuum cleaner T5 Power DX93. Now I did a bit of research. The T5 is identical to the Ozmo 950. So this is also listed as spare parts. This is what the listing looks like, and I'm just checking the numbers here. This is the version 1.1, which is what this one is, the version 1.1. So this actually looks like it's gonna be a match. I've just purchased this. By the time I took into account delivery and my tax that I have to pay in Australia, this came to $90. So I'm going to give this a crack. It should come in about 2 weeks time, $90, and we'll try putting this component back into our 950 and we'll see if the charging issue has been fixed. Wish me luck. Okay folks, today's the day. the motherboard for this vacuum cleaner has officially arrived. Now this is what it looks like. Here's the original motherboard. And here is the AliExpress motherboard. I guess one difference that you see is it's got some, this is a bit of a firm rubberized compound. This original motherboard does not have that. Okay, so our mission now will be to put the new one in and to put it to the test. Let's see if this was worth me actually doing this myself, spending $90, and hopefully this does the trick of getting this working once again. So many cables here to put back in, but they're all seeming to go in pretty nicely with no problems, which is great. My hands are a little bit big and chunky, but I'm still getting them in. There we go. Got this one here. And I'm just checking, I seem to have them all plugged in. The last one is just this ribbon cable. So I'm getting it down into place. I might put the 3 screws in and then we'll get this ribbon cable installed. So I'm pretty happy with how that all went. That seemed to all be fine. There we go, just double check this one, yep. And now just this ribbon cable just needs to be inserted down here. That one's a little bit tricky, so I want to just get this circuit board out just so it can go in and be seated more properly. What I might do is I might just do this one first. Okay, that's better. And then we will put this one in. A little bit trickier, like I'm not that familiar with how to install ribbon cables, but it seemed to work as I pulled it out. There we go. And now that is in properly. All right, that's the new motherboard installed. All right, next we're gonna get our top unit, and remembering it's got these 2 cables here, and the 2 cables have to plug into those 2 ports there. So we'll do that first. Each cable is a different size, so you really can't get this wrong. That's cable number 1. Excellent, cable number 2. And now it will be a matter of just sitting it into place. That was kind of just all clipping back into place, and we'll just double check the switch. Yeah. All right, excellent. We next are going to get our little bumper bar over here, remembering that there are 2 more connectors here into which the bumper needs to connect, and so we will do that now. Might just do it this way, a bit easier for me to see. Excellent, I've just confirmed that they are plugged in and connected just fine. And it kind of just is in place. That's good. no problems. Next we flip it around and we need to put in 2 screws back in there. They're a bit more of our chunkier screws like these ones. Next we get our battery and we put in the connection first of all. That just pushes in nice and easily with your fingers. We then next get our block, our lock block. Goes in there. We get our 2 screws that are a little bit wider. We then are going to be putting these screws into these 2 holes. Just something you'll notice is that this always has a little bit of movement in it. Put the 2 rubber grommets in, plug it up. Cool. Just going to give it a little test run before we put all the other screws back. Let's just see what it does. Let's just see if it begins to work, and that will mean that the motherboard should be good. Hang on, here we go.
I'm starting the cleaning.
Let's just see what it does. I'll bump it, bump it, bump it, bump it, bump it.
Cleaning paused.
Cleaning paused. Okay, that seems to be successful. I mean, it wasn't doing that previously, so I'll turn this off. We are going to be fitting off the rest of the parts on it. Okay, next we're just going to be putting the flap on. Now, this just has just these tabs that stick out of it, so they should be able to simply clip right back in. There we go, literally just snapped into place. Next we get this sort of cover plate, and this has 8 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they are the very, very tiny screws that we see here. Can't get into focus. That's how tiny they are. It goes here. Okay, that's all 8 screws back in place. They're very, very tiny screws, so they're a little bit tricky. Okay, we now have 4 screws. These are a bit more larger size screws. Cool. Next, we're going to be putting on this cover plate. Spin it around. And we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. Finally, we just have this to install. There we go. And that's it. That is ready to rumble. And let's not forget to put the little sweepers into place too. Okay, I've put this all back together, put it back on the charging dock. Now let's turn it on and let it do its thing.
I am starting the clean.
Absolutely. Get to work, woman. That's what we want to see. Start sweeping. Get this place ship shape again. Alright, there we go. Hope you found the video helpful, guys. You can do this at home. If I can do it, man, anyone can do it. Even my grandma can do it. I was beginning to think I'd have to throw that thing away and get a new one, but it did the job. Catch you on the next one.